What's up, everybody? So, in my last video, I talked about Bitcoin and its accumulation, how this a little bit worked. It's pretty simple. We can expect a lot of accumulation in the next coming months. We are now only October. So, it might take a while before we see some real action. And if we see action, most likely it will be bearish momentum. Nothing that will be bullish and very significant. However, there's something I would like to discuss. If we look at Ethereum, there's something interesting to see if we look at the past. Or maybe I'll take up my other chart. Looks a little bit more clear. And there's something, as I said, very, very interesting to see within this chart. It's a historical pattern. So it's pretty simple. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Draw the trend line, break of the trend line, bear market fully in flow. And then the same is happening here. Shoulder, boom, boom, bear market. What can we do? Same trend line. Doesn't have to be as pretty, but we'll do something like this, yeah. So we have this trend line here, this trend line here. We break through it, we break through it. Bottom gets formed. So here we have downside momentum. Here the same downside momentum. What happens here is that we get upside. Guess what happens here? Upside. We see here downside. The same happened in the past. We see downside. And guess where we are going right now? As in the past, we had some upside. And as of here as well, we are getting upside momentum. Now what are we starting with is the downside, just like we did right here. Same is happening here. We are starting to go in a consolidative bearish decline. Now what is interesting is that this looks a lot like each other. So Ethereum could basically be seen as being in an accumulation phase. We could simply draw a resistance here, our line of support here, and we can see that Ethereum is basically just within a zone of 1,000 all the way up to $2,000. The same roughly happened here. We could anticipate this zone to be something like this. And we place our support right here. And what can we see? Due to COVID that happens? The decline went a little bit stronger than expected, and we retested the bottom. I don't say the same will happen again. I'm not gonna say I do not expect, but it would surprise me to see Ethereum back at 1K, but I do not close it out. What I rather expect is that we most likely will retest somewhere around these levels. Around $1,300, $1,200 would be a nice retest, which would be a 20% decline. But let's say we do retest around $1,100, it would be roughly a 40% decline. Well, rounded off 35% decline. So that's a pretty steep decline, which will mean that altcoins will go bearish as well. It doesn't mean that Bitcoin will go extremely bearish and go to 16K or 15K again or below 15K. Bitcoin could just be consolidative bearish while the rest of the market just gets dragged down. That's mostly the scenario. Bitcoin dominance going up, Bitcoin being consolidative / a little bit bearish equals a good recipe for altcoins like Ethereum and other altcoins, of course, to see bearish momentum. As we have been seen in the past few weeks, alts have been nothing but most of the time bearish or consolidative. Bearish, that means that it goes down in slow momentum. So that's a little bit what I'm looking at for Ethereum right now. Ethereum doesn't look the healthiest, doesn't look the worst either, but it's just expected for us to stay within this zone right here. Only reason to become bullish on Ethereum is if we could turn this resistance here as we speak into a support level, which as for now is very closed out until at least 2024. I do not expect in the rest of 2023 that will see any bullish momentum really. I think if we see bullish momentum, it's the bullish momentum that you can sell on and then take another short position. But let's see, guys, let's see. Now, another interesting thing that I would like to share is the total tree. It's been a little while since I pulled this chart up. Last time I pulled this chart up was here in top of the bear market, and since then I never looked at it again. But there's something very interesting to be spotted on. We have our support zone right here. Extremely long. We have the support zone right here. And we can see that we are forming a pretty decent counter trend line, something like here. This looks like a descending, what's the name again? Descending triangle. Yeah, probably a descending triangle. I don't use the patterns a lot. This looks like a descending triangle. Two things could happen, as this is likely a bearish pattern. But hear me out. Two things could happen. Is if this goes bearish and we break through this support zone right here of around 285, 86 billion dollars. If we do break through this, the dump might be very hard on the altcoins. Again, guys, total tree, for people who do not understand, is a crypto market, the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So purely based on altcoins, not on Ethereum, not on Bitcoin, only Litecoin, for example, ApeCoin, Link, LTC, whatever. All those cryptos are in here, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, if we break through this level right here, the dump will be big. First target would be here at 205, 210 billion dollars. Second target would be at around 175 to 180 billion. These two seem like very reasonable targets, but this will cause a massive dump within the market. So, to put in perspective, we are here right now. If we dump only towards the support zone again, it's a 10% dump. If we dump towards this zone here, it's a 36% dump. If we dump towards this zone, it's almost a 50% dump, which would mean that altcoins would get obliterated. They would bleed into the maximum of the maximum. Now, of course, that's not what we're necessarily looking for, but it's there as an option. What could happen as well is that we just retest around this level here, maybe go a little bit lower, wick back in it, close back in it, and we just keep on consolidating here. And eventually, while most people think that there still will be a dump, suddenly the market starts to pump, and we could likely then retest around at least these levels right here, if not higher towards here. Now, with this momentum that happens here, let's say we would break out bullish, we have to be aware that it's not a fake out, that we, for example, not retest around here or here, that suddenly, boom, that could happen as well. It depends a little bit on the timing and the time frame, where we are within the market. Is the time frame good? How's the timing looking? And how are the candles obviously looking? So that's the thing that I'm definitely looking for, that we could see bearish momentum more within altcoins. And the reason for that is, if we look at Bitcoin dominance, for people who do not know, once Bitcoin dominance goes up, altcoins tend to go down, and Bitcoin is consolidative bearish. Once Bitcoin dominance goes down, like here, or here, or here, or here, we have a mini bull market. For example, all the times that we went down here, we had a little altcoin season, nothing significant, but there was some upside momentum within the altcoins, which was always very fun. Now, Bitcoin dominance is going up, and it's very likely for us to expect, if my Fibonacci works with me, exactly, that we will likely retest around this level here before seeing any potential resistance on Bitcoin dominance and more upside on altcoins. Could be that we just break above this level and see higher momentum. It's very, very possible. But This target seems very reasonable for me, and from there on, we'll see. Again, guys, nothing is assured. We might just consolidate further. Altcoins might come into consolidation as well. That's all possible, but it's important for you to know the necessary scenarios. What I do suggest is to slowly accumulate within Bitcoin, within Ethereum. Altcoins, you can type of wait, type of not, like, it's up to you. Altcoins already provide a good ROI at this point, and if we would see that massive drop, obviously we will have them a lot cheaper, which will even provide a bigger ROI, but nothing is assured. It looks like it's very possible, definitely with Bitcoin dominance going up, and if total 3 would lose its support here, then yes, the dump will be likely inevitable. Right, guys, hope this helped. Make sure to accumulate smart, buy your crypto smart, because your time is ticking. See you in the next video.